Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CMIT's video session 216. So basically in today's video, we will actually understand how to do the aggregation. So we already know how to do the count of rows, which we did in the previous video. In this video, we will actually do the practice of how to do aggregation like sum or average. Maybe we can take two and after that, the process remains the same. And maybe we can also try with a particular group by of a particular field. Fine. So we will just practice it right now. And the method which I followed last time will do that. I am also making mistake, I understand, but the point is about not doing it perfectly, but to understand what is the mistake and where we need to check that how that can be resolved actually. Okay, so that's the thing. So I'm opening this particular data set. Now instead of count of rows, let's say I go for sum of annual revenue. Okay, now if I go to the SQL mode directly, now here if you see load group view, the point here to notice like what is that field. So annual revenue is a field which we commonly know, that is fine, and how we are portraying it there over here. Okay, the same thing is when you go for average as well. So I mean, yeah, let's say undo this, and instead of sum, if I go for average of annual revenue, if you see, basically the point to note is what is the short form they are using. It's sum or it's AVG. Okay. In count, you don't need to like worry. You just give count of Q. Okay. Something we already did have a notepad as well, right? Let me open that. Okay. You just do count of Q. That's it. And here you write Q dot in single quotes. You write that particular measured field. Okay, so that is something you write over here, because for count you don't need a measure field, it's just the count of two. That's why you write count of few. But when it comes to the other other calculation which you have to do, like sum or average aggregation type, then you have to mention that particular measure field name over which that aggregation is performed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, let me write that query. Fine. So I will just open this one, and here I will write. So here basically, let's say I want to get the total sum of annual revenue. Okay, so how we can do it? So firstly, again, I will just write q equal to load, and I will not make that mistake. So q equal to load, and I can copy this particular recipe name, which is fine. Okay, so q equal to load this, and the next step will be q equal to q equal to, then we have group q by all. Okay, that's the next step. And then we have q equal to, for each q, generate q dot. Now here it's the important key. So first I will write sum. Okay, and here I will write q dot, and in single quotes I will write the particular measure name. So that is annual revenue for me. Okay, and sum of annual as, maybe I can mention this as a, that is fine. And finally I can skip the last step, which is fine. But let me write, so limit q. Earlier I was making the mistake of writing by. So here I will just write limit q 2000. Okay, so q equal to load this, and of course the main thing is semicolon, giving the semicolon all the time, and for each to generate sum of this. And now if I copy this and paste it over here, so let's see if this works out or not. So here I will just paste it and run the query. So as you can see, it's completely showing me the values. Okay, and for the total average, so basically to get the average of amount, it's again the same thing. Okay, so everything will be the same. Maybe you can just write it out on your own as well, but for now maybe I'm just copying this, and here it will be just avg. Okay, so here also if I just run this, it will give me the result as well. Okay, so that is the thing about this one. Okay, now let's understand how can write the SQL query when we have a certain group by condition. So what I'm going to do is I will go for count of rows, and here maybe let me say I go for industry. Okay, and for now what I will do, I will just I will not have any kind of sorting. Okay, that is not required. And what I can do is I can hide all the other queries. Okay, maybe I can practice in that manner. So then it will help us to actually know like where we are making the mistake. Okay, so I will write the condition and will not refer to the previous queries and all. So this is how I'm taking the count of rows and industry, and now I will check how the SAQL is working in the backend. So it's loading. We are grouping it by a particular field right now. So in the field name is industry, and then we are generating that, okay, and count of queue as a, that's the thing. Okay, so we are grouping by that industry, and then we have to generate that particular field as well. That is also required. The one we are grouping by, you have to generate that. Okay, so now we will see if we are able to write this code or not. Okay, so the condition is to uh, basically display count of rows of account group by industry. Okay, so again, let's understand the code. So one thing, I will just copy that particular data set name. Okay, so maybe that part I can do all the time. Fine, now we will see. So q equal to dot, in double quotes, I'm going to write this particular data set name, which is fine. Okay, I'm giving the semicolon. Then q equal to, here group q by, and I will mention the particular field name over here, that is industry. Okay, that's the second step, right? Group q by this. Then we have to generate. So for each q, generate. Okay, so first I will have that q dot industry, as in single quotes I will write that value industry. Okay, and here I will go for count of q. Okay, count of q as capital A. Okay, something like that. And finally it will be q equal to limit q 2000. Let's say. Okay, so I think that's all about this one. So I'm loading in the first line, I'm grouping it, I'm generating for each q, generate q dot industry. Okay, I think this also seems fine to me. And now I will just execute this one and see if it is working out or not. If not, then we will cross check as well. Okay, what's the reason behind it? So I'm going to the SAQL mode directly, and I'm just pasting this whole thing, and I'm just running the query. So as you can see, it's showing me the way it has to, and that is perfectly fine. Of course, I can write coalesce and all, but yeah, for now, we are going to skip. That doesn't matter. So this is the way it's happening. Now, let's say if I go for the same thing, okay, but I go for count of row, I mean sum of amount, okay. So I'm going for, let's say, sum of amount, sum of annual revenue, I'm sorry. And here, let's say I go for account type, okay. So now we will see how it's working in the backend. So here, basically, now again, I will just do one thing. I will just hide the above one. Okay, I will just hide this above one. That is fine. And I will write that particular recipe dataset name. That's fine. So we are loading this particular recipe dataset. As you can see, we are grouping by a particular field. That is also fine. Now we are generating, and here we have to just generate instead of count the sum as we used to do earlier. Okay, for now I won't go for the order by. Okay, so let me skip the order. Let me clear the sort for order. That is not required as of now. Okay, we will continue at a later stage. And finally, it's the limit. Okay, so what is the condition? Here, basically, I have to write, I have to go for display uh, total annual revenue, right? Total annual revenue group by type. Okay, so we already know the field name. That is fine. Now we will start to write the query. So again, first thing is q equal to load, and you give that particular data set name over here in double quotes. Fine. And then you write q equal to group q by, and you just give that particular name, which is type. That makes sense over here. Then q equal to, okay, for each q, generate uh, q dot type as type. Okay, and then count of q as a. Okay, sorry, not count. It will be summation, right? I'm sorry. So here it will be sum. So sum of, here it will be q dot uh, annual revenue I know, field name, so annual revenue. Okay, and finally, of course, it will be q equal to limit to 2000. Okay, so we will, I think, let me cross check once again. Q equal to load, Q equal to group Q by type. For each you generate Q dot type as type, sum of Q dot annual revenue as a, and we are limiting this. Okay, so now we will kind of check this out. Okay, so here I will just type this, and here, okay, let me open this and then do it. Okay, so here I will just go to this SAQL mode, and here I will paste everything and I will just run the query. So as you can see, this is coming up as it is fine. So in that way, it's working. And finally, what I can do is right now, I can actually go for maybe the order by. Fine. So let's say I just go for the, okay, yeah, let's say we go for order by. So here I'm going for count of rows, I'm going for industry. Okay. And here, let's say I go for this order by where I'm sorting out in descending order. Okay, descending order of industry. And now I will check how this code is working in the backend. So here we are again loading it, that is fine. We are grouping queue by industry for each queue. I think right now we won't make any mistake over here. There is one line which is just getting added, that queue equal to order queue by industry, and we have to write DESC. So order queue by industry DESC, and finally we are limiting. So what is the scenario here? So here basically we have to just ensure that uh, display total count, okay, grouped by industry and sorted by industry in descending order. Okay, so that's the whole condition. And of course I will just take the recipe name, that's it. Okay, and I will not refer the code anymore. So here, this is the recipe name. So display total count grouped by industry and sorted by industry in descending order. So once again, q equal to load, you will write that dataset name. Then q equal to group q by, again it will be industry. Okay, then q equal to for each q generate. Okay, it's like uh, q dot industry as industry. Okay, and here it will be count of q as a. Okay, then we have q equal to order q by, it will be industry, and here I will write DSC. Okay, and finally q equal to limit q 2000. Okay, and here of course I will give the recipe name. Okay, and we will just cross check once. Q equal to, I'm loading the recipe data set. Q equal to group Q by industry, that is fine. Q equal to for each to generate Q dot industry as industry count of Q as A, that is also fine. Q equal to order Q by industry in descending order, and Q equal to limit. Now we will cross check this one. So I will once again close this, and I will just open this. Okay, and here go to directly to SAQL mode, and finally I will just paste this over here. Okay, and I will run the query. As you can see, this is coming perfectly. Okay, so you have seen how I am actually manually writing the code in each and every step. I'm not copying from the previous one. Okay, I know the scenarios are quite similar. I could have copied, but this is the way to go about. This is the way I also did during my days of learning SQL, because it just gives you the confidence, and also it helps you to face the interview as well. Okay, so this is my way, and I think you should also proceed in this manner. And yeah, we will continue on the practice in our next video. So yeah, bye.